What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, we're going to be removing the rear passenger foot pegs on the 2021 Panigale V2. As always, I'm going to go over the correct way to do it with the correct parts, the correct tools. We'll take the pegs off, weigh them as well, so you guys know exactly how much weight you're removing when you take these pegs off your Panigale. First thing you're going to need, guys, is you're going to need to order these spacers here. All right, they are these. That's what they look like. And here's the part number. 71614961 Alpha Alpha. That part number is just for one of these spacers. So you'll need to order two of these for this particular modification. I got these from Ducati of Omaha. It was just the easiest way for me to get them. Shipping was not expensive or anything like that, but you will need two of these to take those pegs off the correct way. First thing we're gonna do is we'll go ahead and remove these fasteners here. There's two. I know it's very hard to see, so to visualize, you can kind of see them in this mirror here, if I can get this to focus. See that? There's two Allen keys there that we're gonna have to remove, okay? So it's really hard to see just without any tools, but if you have a little mirror, you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like in there. Went ahead and got those fasteners out. Okay, the ones that we saw in the mirror, this is what they look like. Just so you guys know, it is a 6mm. So I used a PB Swiss 6mm Allen key with a short extension on this short 1/4" drive ratchet. I wish I had a little bit longer 1/4" drive ratchet. I don't have a lot of 1/4" drive stuff. Most of my stuff's 3/8. When you do this, since the torque is so tight, there's no Loctite or anything like that. It's just very, very tight. If you have the chance, I would either use a 3/8 drive or a longer 1/4", but this is the exact setup that I used to get into that tight area. And you'll see once you have that all loose, this heat shield does move around a bit, which will be nice for getting access to those fasteners there. Next, we can go ahead and loosen both of these. These are 5mm. So I just use this little short Wera Allen key. Now with the shield loose, you have a little bit more room in there, and I was able to sneak this in. If for whatever reason your tolerances are a little bit different and you're unable to get an Allen key all the way on there, you can get Allen keys that have this ball end, and that will allow you to get a little bit of an angle on there. See that, right? You get a little bit of an angle on there, and that'll give you a little bit more clearance as well. I will warn you though, the ball ends do tend to strip your fasteners easier. So if you can, try to use a non-ball end Allen key. But again, 5mm there. And these outer ones, these are actually 6mm. These are super tight. The 5mm fasteners were tight, but not bad at all. These are really, really tight. So what I used on that, I used a really long 6mm Allen key. And it looks like that. Again, you'll see the ball end on this one as well. But again, with the shield loose, there's enough room to actually get this key in there. But you'll see how tight these are. And again, make sure that the Allen key is fully engaged with the fastener, because these are so tight, but these are super, super tight. Okay. See this one, guys? It's already loosened, but I'm using the ball end of the tool here just to give me a little bit more clearance. It makes it a little bit easier to get in there. And what I really like about these Wera Allen keys is they have this little plastic guard on there, so I don't have to worry as much about scratching my exhaust heat shield. We could see all the fasteners have been removed now, and you can see how loose everything is. It's just kind of barely hanging on. So once you get those last fasteners out, be really careful this doesn't swing down and hit your suspension or hit your carbon fiber or whatever. All this stuff is very, very loose, so just be very careful it doesn't scratch any other parts of the bike, it doesn't scratch your heat shield, etc. Okay guys, so I've got one side out. Just because of the positioning of these, I chose to put a little bit of frog tape on the areas where it could possibly scratch, right? This is all plastic, and you're trying to remove an aluminum foot peg, and it's pretty sharp. So don't have to do this, but I would tape it. I've seen some people who do this and they scratch all this plastic stuff and it looks pretty bad. So don't have to, but my suggestion would be to go ahead and put some blue painter's tape. In this case, I have frog tape. I'll show you in a little bit more detail later, but you can kind of see there's this sleeve. See that, guys? There's a sleeve there that needs to be pushed down enough for you to take the foot peg out from, it's kind of almost like sandwiched in there, okay? So the best way that I found to remove it was to put weight just on this whole entire assembly, okay? Not a ton, just a little bit, and it will allow you to remove the foot peg. Okay, guys, so what I did, oops, dropped the light. What I did was I pulled down on this, and then it's hard for me to kind of film at the same time because the camera's in the way, but what I did was I will pull down on this assembly here, and that will allow me to remove the foot peg. Once the pegs are removed, this is what you're left with. Again, we see these sleeves here, right? 1 and 2, okay? And we can see that they correspond with the pegs. Maybe it's easier if I do it this way. You can see that those sleeves go inside of these recesses here, and that's kind of the hard part. Once you get all the fasteners out, that's kind of what holds it. It's like sandwiched in there, and again, by kind of pulling this down, you get just enough clearance for you to remove the pegs. And those spacers that we bought from Ducati, that will kind of take place of the pegs that we just removed and allow you to fasten this back up to where it needs to be, kind of like so. Okay, so let's get to the fun part. Let's go ahead and weigh these passenger foot pegs. Some of the fasteners are going to be reused. These small ones are not. The small ones pretty much just go here. They just kind of attach the two halves together, so we don't need to reuse these. These are optional to reuse. These went there. Okay, so you don't need to fill those holes. I'm going to. Hopefully the fasteners are not going to be too long. If they are, I'll get some shorter ones, but I do want to put something there in those holes. And these are going to get reused as well. These are what's going to hold those spacers in place, and those will go here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this, and these small fasteners weighed. And there we go. So both passenger foot pegs as well as the fasteners that we're not reusing, and we're at 2 pounds, 2 ounces. So a little bit of weight, not a ton, but I mean, if it's something that you're not using anyway, weight's weight. And we've got our scales zeroed out, and these are the spacers that we're using today. So 0.2, 0.3 ounces, something like that. So very, very light for those spacers that we're adding back. So we're losing a little over 2 pounds in weight and adding back 0.2 ounces. Okay, and there's our spacers. So they just sit right on top of those sleeves, very self-explanatory. This is the direction that they're supposed to go in. They pretty much only go one way, so you can't really mess that up, but you can kind of see their purpose, right? Once you have those sleeves on there, those cones, sorry, not sleeves, those spacers, the cones on there, you can see that now the heat shield will sit where it's supposed to, right? So very easy, very self-explanatory, but that's how they go. So let's go ahead and put the fasteners back. I'm gonna put a little anti-seize on them as well, and we'll go ahead and get this thing back together. And there it is, guys. Passenger foot pegs all removed, spacers installed, no scratches on the plastic, no scratches on the suspension or anything like that. Unfortunately, one, kind of just me just not paying attention. So remember earlier in the video, I wanted to plug these holes with the existing fasteners that were for the foot pegs. Well, my bad, wasn't paying attention. The sleeve here actually prevents it from threading all the way in. So I'm gonna have to get some new fasteners. I'll go to the specialty store and get some like stainless fasteners with the same thread pitch and everything, just shorter on with no sleeve, but no big deal. I mean, it doesn't really affect anything. Me personally, even though nobody will see it, I just don't like leaving that the way it is. But there we go. So pretty inexpensive way to remove a couple of pounds from your Panigale V2. Obviously looks a lot cleaner. just one of those things where I've been wanting to do it for a while, but I just kind of didn't want to deal with it. I actually used those foot pegs to move the bike around. It just kind of gave me something to hold on to. So that was part of the reason why I kept it. But now I'm glad that I did remove them. It doesn't cost much. Obviously the spacers were like $4 or $5 a piece. Doesn't take much time. But there we go, guys. So there we go, guys. Easy and inexpensive way to take a couple pounds off your Panigale V2, make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. All you need are those spacers that I gave you the part number for in the beginning of the video. I'll also put it in the description so you guys can just copy and paste it and get it from wherever you're gonna get it from. Again, I got mine from Ducati of Omaha, but if you wanna go to your local dealer to get it, go ahead and do that. Whatever's easier for you folks. Again, don't forget that part number is only for an individual spacer. So you will need 2 for this project. You'll need 5mm Allen keys and 6mm Allen keys. I would have various extensions on hand. I would have a long 1/4 inch drive ratchet, or if you can, you could try to fit a 3/8 inch drive ratchet in there, but I think a long 1/4 inch drive ratchet would be better. Ball ends for your Allen keys would be preferred as well. Again, I wouldn't break the torque with the ball end, but it is useful later when you're just trying to either remove, just kind of unthread, or thread back in the fasteners. And other than that, that's about it. It's a pretty straightforward modification. However, you can definitely mess it up. I've seen a lot of people online strip those bolts. I've seen people online scratch all their plastic. I actually saw in person somebody whose plastic was all scratched from them trying to wrestle that foot peg out of there. So I'm hoping this detailed video will help you folks from avoiding that. It's just one of those things where it's not very hard, but you need to take your time. You can scratch the suspension, you can scratch your plastics, you can gouge things, you can strip out the fasteners. If you strip out any of those fasteners, I don't even know what you would do. I guess maybe, I don't know, for the heat shield ones, you can maybe like take the wheel off and try to drill it from the bottom, or try to hammer a Torx key in there. I don't take the subframe off. I don't know what you could do, but you do not want to strip those fasteners. You need to make sure when you are trying to remove those fasteners, you have very good engagement with your bit. Again, take your time. If you feel it slipping, whatever, stop. You might need to get a higher quality bit. I like the PB Swiss stuff, but Wera is good, Weha is good as well. Of course, Snap-on and all that other stuff. Cornwall is good also, but make sure you have a good set of bits. Don't use some, no-name stuff off Amazon, because you will strip those fasteners or break that bit off inside the fastener, which is just as bad basically. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate it. Should be some more videos coming soon. I should have the AEM factory rear sets for the Panigale V2 pretty soon. I'm looking at possibly getting another motorcycle, maybe an Aprilia or something like that. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me. If you like what you see, please like, especially subscribe. I need more subscribers. But we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.